Hi guys, really quick video today. I just drew up an inspection checklist for checking beehives that I thought might be useful, so let's get down to it. First things first, it's not always easy to juggle things when you're inspecting a beehive, so I wouldn't actually expect you to have a checklist on hand trying to write stuff down while you're dealing with the bees. First thing I would say is bees take priority, so check the bees and you can kind of fill this out before or after. If you've got someone with you, that's always a hell of a lot more helpful and they can do this for you as you go. I've also found that having a recorder in your pocket also helps. So if you're wanting to collect data on your beehive in terms of the percentage of brood or honey being stored, things like that, then you can always stick a recorder in your top pocket and use that to collect the data, and you can fill in your spreadsheets or databases later. So if we have a look at our beehive inspection checklist, we've got some basic equipment. So you've got your hive tool, smoker, bee veil and suit, gloves, which of course are optional, and your frame holder, which some people like myself find quite useful. So physical steps, quick touch on those. So keep your tools on hand, light your smoker, get it going. I'll make a video on how I fill and light my smoker shortly. Apply a couple of puffs near the hive entrance. This helps with some of the guard bees that are usually sitting outside your hive. Crack the seal on the lid using the hive tool and remove it. Crack and remove an inner cover if you have one. Puff the smoke gently over the top of the hive until the bees retreat into the frames. Insert the frame holder, if you have one, onto the side of the hive. It's a bit easier to do it rather than when you've got a frame in your hand. Crack the seal between the two closest frames and you want to pull the first one out. You can usually do this by wedging the hive tool under the little processors that the frames sit on. Then you can remove the frame and inspect it. We'll go through the inspection steps in a moment, but just a couple of things to touch on. You want to make sure the frame is queenless before placing it into your frame holder. You don't necessarily want the queen running around outside the hive. And then you repeat the inspection steps for each frame, and then you close your hive up. It's fairly simple. Alright, so inspection steps. So this is a fairly comprehensive list. I still don't do half of these, although I'm planning on setting up a database whereby I can record how my hive is going and input all of those data into a database so that I can analyze how my hive is going and whether or not it's on track from last year. I can compare it to other hives when I get more hives, the work. So it's going to be really useful for just keeping track of what works and what doesn't work and what I can do to improve. It's a learning process. So first inspection step would be just to have a peruse over the nurse bees, check for the queen. So obviously you want to try and find the queen where possible, just to make sure your hive is queen right. Next thing you can do is check for resources, pollen, nectar, uncapped and capped honey. And then you want to check the brood, so you want to check eggs, larvae, capped brood, drone brood, and then any potential queen cups or supersedure cells or swarm cells. And then a brief check for diseases. Obviously in Australia we don't have the varroa mite, which is very, very lucky, but other countries do. You also want to check for brood diseases like American foul brood, European foul brood, chalk brood, etc. And any other hive diseases like wax moths or hive beetles. Obviously once you've done that on one side of the frame, turn it over, do it on the other, and then do it for the rest of the frames and close it up. Now that's a fairly comprehensive, thorough hive inspection. A lot of people just like to dip into their hives when they're looking for certain things, particularly honey and resources. But if you want, you can use it. I will add a link to where you can get it below. I'll make a public public cloud folder where people can download it. It's just a Word document. And I'll also show you my database once that's up and running. And if you think I'm missing something, or you've got other things you might like to add to the list, just comment below. Thanks, guys.